Bullet News today. Headline: Trump warns of Third World War if he loses 2024 election during meeting with Netanyahu. In a high-profile meeting at Mar-a-Lago, former President Donald Trump hosted Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his wife Sarah, issuing a stark warning about the potential for global conflict. Trump claimed that ongoing international tensions could escalate into a Third World War if he does not win the upcoming 2024 presidential election. He criticized his political rival, Kamala Harris, for her stance on Middle Eastern affairs, suggesting she is ill-equipped to handle the situation. Trump's comments follow Netanyahu's recent meetings with President Joe Biden and Vice President Harris in Washington, D.C., where Harris affirmed the U.S. commitment to Israel's security, but also condemned civilian casualties in Gaza. This condemnation reportedly upset Netanyahu. Trump's remarks highlight the high stakes of the election and the critical international issues at play, underscoring the urgency he feels about his potential return to office. Headline: Lone survivor of Nepal plane crash, Captain Shakya moved to general ward. Captain Manish Raj Shakya, the sole survivor of the tragic plane crash in Nepal that claimed 18 lives, has been moved from the ICU to a general ward as his condition improves. The Pokhara-bound Bombardier CRJ-200 aircraft of Surya Airlines caught fire shortly after takeoff from Tribhuvan International Airport, killing 15 on the spot and 3 more during treatment. Captain Shakya was rescued after the cockpit was severed from the plane by a freight container. He sustained multiple injuries, including fractures and internal damage, but was not burned in the fire. The Kathmandu Medical College reported his condition as stable, and he is being monitored by specialists. In response to the crash, a commission led by former Khan Director General Ratish Chandra Lal Suman has been formed to investigate and prevent future incidents. Surya Airlines has promised full support to the victims' families. This marks the 105th plane crash in Nepal since 1955. Headline: Sri Lanka to hold presidential election on September 21st amid economic recovery efforts. Sri Lanka will hold its next presidential election on September 21st, marking the first election since the 2022 economic crisis that led to widespread unrest and the ouster of former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Incumbent President Ranil Wickremesinghe, credited with stabilizing the economy and reducing inflation, is the first candidate to submit his nomination. Opposition leaders had voiced concerns about potential delays, but the government has confirmed the election date. This crucial vote will shape the future of economic reforms in the country, which has seen significant international support, including a $2.9 billion IMF bailout and aid from India. Despite improvements, Sri Lanka's recovery remains fragile, with analysts stressing the need for continued reform. Headline: Over 160,000 joined Kamala Harris' Zoom call to mobilize white women voters. On Thursday night, more than 160,000 people joined a Zoom call organized by Moms Demand Action founder Shannon Watts to rally support for Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris among white women. The call, which included activists, podcasters, singer Pink, and regular voters, is part of a series following President Joe Biden's announcement to step aside for Harris in the 2024 race. The series aims to leverage economic and political power to elect Harris, focusing on strategies like outreach, fundraising, and countering misinformation. Democrats hope to sway white women voters by emphasizing issues such as abortion rights, especially in light of recent Republican-backed abortion bans. Headline: SpaceX and NASA schedule Crew 9 mission for August 18. SpaceX and NASA have announced the Crew 9 mission to the International Space Station, ISS, scheduled for no sooner than August 18th. This follows the Federal Aviation Administration's clearance for SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket to resume missions after a rare mid-flight failure earlier this month temporarily grounded the rocket. The incident, which resulted in the loss of a Starlink satellite payload, was the first failure for the Falcon 9 in over 7 years. The Crew 9 mission will be the 9th crew rotation to the ISS, conducted by NASA and SpaceX. Headline: Kim Jong-un marks Korean War anniversary with call for people's paradise. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un declared it a sacred mission to build a paradise for the people, as North Korea celebrated the Korean War armistice anniversary on July 27th. In a speech marking the day, Kim emphasized protecting the ideology upheld by previous generations of war victors. The celebrations included visits to war memorials, a parade, and mass dances in Pyongyang. Although North Korea commemorates this day as Victory Day, the armistice signed in 1953 merely ended active combat and established a divided Korean peninsula. South Korea does not hold major events for the occasion. Headline: Russia claims Ukraine attacks Bryansk region with 21 drones. On July 26, the Russian Defense Ministry claimed that Ukrainian forces launched 21 drones targeting the Bryansk region near the southern border with Ukraine. Russian air defense reportedly intercepted the drones, with regional officials stating that 12 were downed within an hour. No casualties or significant damage were reported. The Bryansk region, along with the Belgorod region, has been a frequent target of Ukrainian drone attacks aimed at reducing Russian military pressure inside Ukraine. Earlier in July, Ukrainian drones were also reported to have caused a fire at an oil refinery in Tuapse and near a military airbase in Rostov Oblast. Headline: Philippine forces resupplied disputed shoal without clashes amid tensions with China. On Saturday, Philippine government personnel successfully transported supplies to the contested Second Thomas Shoal in the South China Sea without encountering Chinese resistance. This marks the first supply mission since a recent Philippines-China agreement to prevent confrontations. Despite previous violent clashes over the shoal, the mission proceeded without incident. The deal, aimed at avoiding further conflicts while maintaining territorial claims, has not been publicly detailed. The U.S. and allies have condemned past Chinese aggression in the area, emphasizing the importance of rule of law and freedom of navigation. Headline: Sinaloa cartel leader El Mayo Zambada captured in elaborate U.S. sting. In a dramatic turn of events, Ismael El Mayo Zambada, one of the most elusive figures in drug trafficking history, was captured in El Paso, Texas, after being deceived in a sophisticated sting operation. For 35 years, Zambada evaded authorities, maintaining his grip on the Sinaloa cartel. The arrest came after Zambada was lured to the U.S. under the false pretense of inspecting potential locations for clandestine airstrips. The elaborate scheme was orchestrated by Joaquin Guzman Lopez, the son of his former partner El Chapo. Despite his advanced age and deteriorating health, Zambada's arrest marks a significant blow to the cartel's leadership. This high-stakes operation not only highlights the persistent efforts of U.S. law enforcement, but also raises concerns about the future of the Sinaloa cartel. The possibility of internal power struggles could lead to renewed violence, affecting communities both in Mexico and the U.S. The timing of the arrest also underscores the Biden administration's focus on curbing the fentanyl crisis, which has become the leading cause of death among Americans aged 18 to 45. Headline: Flash floods and landslides devastate Uttarakhand. Ganga water levels rise. A cloudburst in Uttarakhand's Tehri Garhwal area on Saturday led to severe flash floods and a tragic landslide in Budakheter. In this disaster, 42-year-old Sarita Devi and her 15-year-old daughter, Ankita, were buried alive when a retaining wall collapsed behind their home. The bodies were recovered after a dedicated search by police and rescue teams. Meanwhile, continuous heavy rains have affected various states across India, with rising water levels in the Ganga River at Rishikesh raising concerns. In Navi Mumbai, a 3-story building collapse resulted in 1 fatality, further highlighting the widespread impact of the ongoing monsoon. Emergency services are working tirelessly to manage the crisis and provide aid to affected families. Thanks for watching. Until next time.